Welcome to the Zodiac Lounge. I am here tonight. I'm really excited to see all of you. I'm still admitting people. This is my beautiful guest, Mayume. We met in the Lisa Williams School, and we're
Hmm.
both being mentored in platform mediumship, which is a
Yeah,
whole different
it's a
story
whole
than
different thing.
one-on-one.
Yeah.
And I adored her when she did her presentation
Oh,
during
thanks.
our initial workshop, because she has such a sweet way about her. And then we talked on the phone, and I found out all the other stuff. So
That I can.
I adore her even more now.
I
So
I like to be nasty. I can. Yeah, I think my girlfriends
you can
know.
be a
Yeah,
nasty girl.
I can be a
Uh-huh.
nasty girl. Yeah,
And I loved
especially
when you
with
were,
you. You make it so easy, Anthony. Just
oh
like it
yeah.
flows.
Oh God,
Yeah,
it's the
it's great.
easiest thing in the world. But I'm glad to see so many people here.
Yeah, me
And I'm
too.
glad, and they're
Thanks.
still coming in, damn it. Wait, I mean, darn it. I'm trying to make it. No, I'm trying to be like this like elegant elderly gentleman, but it's a big fail. I mean, I've been
Oh
trying since I'm a
God.
kid and it still ain't happening. But here
Oh.
we all are at the Zodiac Lounge. For those of you who don't know what the Zodiac Lounge was, it was my brick and mortar store that I had for 11 years in New York City. It was a metaphysical store by day where I sold authentic artifacts, ritual tools, substances, ancient Egyptian incense blends. I did tarot readings there. I sat medium there. And then at night, we closed at 9 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock, it reopened as a speakeasy. That went on till 6 in the morning. So it was really wild. And so consider this your virtual neighborhood friendly speakeasy where drinking is encouraged and trolls will be dispatched.
That's
We
right.
do not
I love
cancel
it.
anybody here. You don't need a mask. You can say whatever the hell you want. Nobody's going to jump down your throat and call you any names. The only thing that I will not tolerate is if you become abusive to my guest, any of the other viewers, or me, because then I was just about to say that F word. Then I'm going to mess you right up. I will hex you like I learned to do when I visited Sicily, and you will never be the same. You won't even walk the same. Don't believe me? I can get witnesses in. So we are all
Oh
here
my
tonight,
God. You
and
are so
Mayum and
fun.
I are
Yes.
feeding off each other's energy. So we've already gone round the bend. But I'd like to give a really warm welcome to my dear new friend that I feel like I've never not known,
I know,
Mayume
it's crazy.
Carelli. So, hey,
Thank you,
welcome to the
Anthony.
Zodiac Lounge, your maiden voyage.
Thank you so much, Anthony. My God, you are such a hot shit. This is really an honor for me. This is so much fun. I remember watching Burnett do this with you, and I was like, I really want to do that. So I just feel like this
And
is
here you
divine. This is
are.
happening, and here I am.
Here you
See
are.
how I manifested that? Yeah.
Yeah. And I often pull people out of the audience and then they become guests. There was somebody in my
Yeah.
show last week. If anybody here who went to the dream clinic, the sleep clinic, the Zodiac Lounge sleep clinic last week when we were discussing dream interpretations, let me know
Oh.
if you used any of that technique later on in the show to interpret your own dreams.
Oh my gosh, I missed
Okay.
that because
I'll
I
send
have
you the YouTube link. It was a riot. It
I
was
would love it
totally a
because I
riot.
have effed up dreams, man. Really.
Oh, cool. We should pick them apart on
Okay.
the air and see what's
Okay.
really going on.
Sweet.
Because once you realize that everybody in your dream is an aspect of yourself, they make so much more sense. It's actually creating an
Gotcha.
inner dialogue between you and your higher self, and you get
I
to the
love
bottom of a
that.
lot of issues. But I don't want to talk about me. These people hear about me every week when I'm running my mouth in the beginning of the show. I want to talk about you. So I'm going to ask you the question that every guest, and when I'm a guest, I hate it too. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I know, and I'm gonna fly through it because I don't really want to sit. That's not the fun, juicy part. But again, my name is Mayume. I am a spiritual medium and an intuitive healer. So what I do and what I guess have been doing is I talk to spirit, and I didn't know I was talking to spirit until later on when someone said, "Did you know that you're a medium? Did you know that's what's going on?" All my life since I was a little girl, I was seeing oh gosh, like I guess now I realize they were angels. Some of them were old people. I would get little flecks of, sparks of light that I realized are like fairies or orbs. So all this was going on when I was younger, and it scared the living shit out of me. So I would run for my parents' bedroom all the time, and I'd go sleep with them because I didn't like what was going on in my room. But I had this awesome dad that was able to talk to me and be like, hey, what do you think that is? And I was like, oh, I don't
Did you
know.
point them out to him when you were seeing them? Was he there with you when you were seeing the orbs?
No, all this shit would happen in at night. Like
Uh-huh.
right before sleep, sometimes it would wake me up, like tap tap
Uh-huh.
tap, or it'd be like a light in my face, if someone was to come up to you and put a flashlight in your eyes, you're kind of waking up like
Mhm.
what, and the whole room would be glowing. So
Oh,
just a
wow.
lot of scary shit. And as a
Yeah.
little girl, I was petrified. So no, I would just run and go sleep with them, and then we'd talk about it the next morning. So, and
Excellent.
I know. I looking back, it's excellent, but at the time I hated it. I
Really?
hated it. Oh, I was scared out of my mind, and I'm still
Yeah.
kind of scared of the dark, but
Yeah. Yeah.
my dad was really cool. So, he allowed me to think it was cool, kind of like you were saying. I
Yeah.
didn't think
Yeah.
it was cool. He was like, "But who are they? And why don't you ask them who they are? What do they want?" And I was getting weird shit, Anthony. Like some things were like aliens or entities that didn't look
Okay.
human. So he really loved that. He wanted to talk about like those people. So my dad was awesome that way, very open minded. So he allowed me to have curiosity instead of
Hmm.
fear, and that was cool to me. So growing up, I just wanted to be normal. Sleepovers, I didn't want to have anything show up. It was really hard to date. Um,
Yeah. I
if I
guess.
get up in the
Did they
middle of the
show
night.
up when you had sleepovers? Like
Um, yeah,
your
I would have.
overnight
I
guests?
would. I would see faces. Yeah, I
Like,
would
so
see
you would say, like, pay
faces.
no attention to that guy over there. He's just a ghost. Is that how you
I
would
would
deal with it?
just.
With
I,
oh,
I wouldn't say shit. I wouldn't tell anyone that I saw anything because I would be a weirdo, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
As I got older, right?
mhm,
As I got older, I could tell my friends and
mhm.
see like I see stuff, and I have friends that would be like, "Oh, give me a card reading." So I think on the side, I kind of slowly grew it, and people knew that I was intuitive, but I definitely did not come out and announce it and tell the world. Not until recently. I was afraid to.
We have
Yeah.
something in chat. We have a question in chat. Jacqueline
Okay.
Christina wants to know why the F are we censoring the F word tonight? Because I'm trying to make a good impression. And fuck, fuck, fuck. Okay, are we better now? We got that done.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
cool.
already said it a few times. Yeah, we're not censoring it,
Okay.
right? I mean, like I said, I have friends and family here who know that I swear, so it's all good.
That's okay. I mean, anybody who lives in the world is hard to. We
Oh
have a
yeah,
hand raised. Shannon
I saw
Irvine.
that.
Am I saying your name
That's my
correctly?
cousin. Yeah, Shannon. I don't know if she
Okay.
meant to raise her hand. Hi, Shannon. Hi,
Hi, Shannon.
cuz.
Did you mean to raise your hand? If you did, leave it up there. If not, remove it because I can invite you up on stage if you'd like to bring that. So why don't
She
we
may
do
not know
that?
how to do that. Yeah, under
Okay. Well, we'll see.
reactions. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll just leave her up there and see if she wants to do
Hello.
it. Hello.
Hi, Shannon. Hi, cuz.
Hey, how are you, beautiful?
I'm great. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Did you have a question for me?
I'm just wondering if you can connect with Ben and see if he's come to terms with anything.
We're
I
going to be
don't.
getting to that toward the end of the show. We're going to do a little bit of an interview first, and then Mayum is going to do a platform demonstration. Unless Mayum, if you want to do it now, I mean, if you want to answer that question now, you can, or we can just ask everybody to wait until the segment.
I think we'll wait until the segment. I want to stick with the time frame of your show if that's okay. So,
That's
Shannon,
fine with me as long as it's
that's
cool with Shannon, and then we can
yeah,
just.
that would be towards the end right after the interview, if that's okay.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So we will speak with you later, and I will lower your hand, and there we go.
Okay.
Okay. So we were talking about Dad and how he would
Yeah.
help you accept your
Yeah.
experiences and put them into a context that didn't frighten you.
Yeah, I think that happens to probably thousands, millions, if not, all these kids that are seeing spirit. Because when you're younger and you're
Mhm.
kind of fresh from that realm, you're
Yeah,
right. It's still in your. You can still see things. You can see toddlers like looking around, and I think then as you get older, you become conditioned to like,
exactly.
there's nothing
Our
there.
culture
Hmm.
teaches us to ridicule it or think
Hmm.
it's something to be ashamed of, or they call it superstition.
Hmm.
And we're trained to completely dissociate from it, which I think goes back to a power struggle that started during the Bronze Age. But that's a whole other topic for a whole other show. When I go hip hopping down memory lane with the ancient Hittites, we'll do that at some point
That
because I
sounds fun, actually.
um, but it's great that you had a parent. I mean, I had nobody in my house. My parent, well, first of all, I'm much older than you. I became aware of my ability when I was around 6, so that was
Oh,
1958.
wow.
And then, so it was a very conservative society as a whole, and my household was conservative on steroids. Plus, we were Roman Catholic, so that was like the trifecta
Yeah.
um, of,
No, no bueno.
suppression.
Yeah.
But then I just started blurting it out because even as a child, I would reach a certain point. I would try to be nice. I would try to conform to the rules of the family. But then at some point, you're going to push me too far, and then I'm just going to put a match to everything. So then I just
Yeah.
start blurting shit out and scaring the hell out of them.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny you should say that because so I have three girls, three daughters. They're
Uh-huh.
teenagers. My middle one, she sees spirit all the time
Uh-huh.
as well. She's very clairvoyant. And I'm trying to help her and give her
Hmm.
tools on how to not be scared, kind of like
Hmm.
my dad did for me.
Yeah.
But man, she loves to mess with her cousins and her friends
Really?
by saying, I saw a giant spider over your head last night. It scares the shit out of them. So
That's
it can
awesome.
be, I know she is pretty funny. It is awesome, but it is scary for kids. And
Uh-huh.
until you get old enough to kind of figure out, and let's be honest, it still scares the shit out of me. Like
Really?
I don't want someone standing hovering over my bed, tapping my leg to wake me up because they want me to go talk to their loved one. That it's not fun. I'm always
Don't you
like,
throw
can
them
you
out?
wait? Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
I always
usually
have
kick
to
them.
tell
I had to
them.
kick my father out this
Yeah.
afternoon.
Did you?
Yeah, it's like I'm food shopping. Get the hell away from me. Is there anything wrong? Are you in trouble? Do you need help or do I need help? Are you
Yeah.
here with a message or are you just here to watch me pick out these peaches because
Oh,
you're really getting on my last gay nerve right now? I mean,
that
there's
is
that hot guy over
hysterical.
there and I can't play with him because you are breathing down my neck. So, this happens I also keep a really big piece of black tourmaline under my bed and a
Mm,
huge white clear quartz generator because that protects
mm.
you. Because when people know that you can connect with them, they kind of flock to you. There
Yes,
you
I
go.
yes. Yeah, protection.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I told them to leave me alone during the day. It's
Hmm.
like turn it on, turn it off, like open for business, close for
Right.
business.
Yeah, yeah.
So and they listened.
Yeah.
Actually, Lisa Williams was the one who told my daughter. She came in. She so great. She made a phone call with my daughter. We set it up and
Uh-huh.
helped her figure out how to manage
Oh,
this,
cool. Hmm.
which was ended up being great tips for me. So I was like,
Hmm.
oh shit. And so I started writing all this down,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's what I'll do. So I tell them when I'm open and then I tell them when I'm closed.
Hmm. Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
perceive it as like a cyclone fence. And then I plug up every hole except for the one that's going to alert me if danger is coming my way. I don't want to know
Mm,
anything else when I'm off the
okay.
clock because
Yeah,
it can be
right.
crazy. When I was a kid, I was always late for everything because I was constantly jumping off the subways just by absorbing everything around me because I'm also an
Yeah.
empath. And it's like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, will you people stop thinking? And then I'd be like
Yes.
hours late. I was never in school on time. And I tell my parents I had to keep on jumping off the subway. So these dead people were just like tormenting, they were just really bothering me. They talk so much. And they're like,
Mm,
maybe we should bring you to a doctor. And they did.
that.
And
Yeah.
I determined that the shrink was crazy because he started immediately sexualizing everything. It's like, dude, I'm like 11. You know,
Oh my
yeah. Does
God.
it make you want to have sex with your mother? And it's like, what?
Oh, see, that's
This
just
was Freud in the
crazy.
50s.
Of
And I was like,
course.
my
Right. I
father
got,
doesn't even
yeah.
have sex with my mother. What the hell makes you think I'm going to do it?
But bump.
Yeah.
Oh my
So I
God.
was like, all right, I'm out of here. So what I did is I convinced him that my father was in the waiting room. I said he wants to pay you cash, but he also wants to speak to you privately. And when he left the office, I was in the conference room that we met in, because the way he was set up, like many people were, you walked in one door, met with him, and then you walked out the other door, so a patient didn't run into another patient. So I
Yeah.
locked both doors and I called the police to come and get me. So that was That I said he's
You know,
getting really weird. He's talking
oh
about
my,
sex and I'm a minor.
oh my, that is kind of scary. That is kind of
Yeah, so I
scary.
got out of that, and then either my father was too embarrassed to bring me back, or the therapist was too like freaked out to have me come back. But that was the end of that. Then they just left me alone. But it was
Thank
always
God.
hard, and thank God you had a dad who was interested. Now I know that your dad played a very large part in your development. Can you
Yes, he
talk a
did.
little bit about that? Because this is a
Yeah, yeah.
fascinating story.
Well, not so, yeah, to obviously he was really open and talked to me
Hmm.
about what was going on with me. And he used to also joke and say, hey, we don't die. And if I ever die, I'm going to play jokes on you. He used to tell me all kinds of stuff that I'm like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, May of 1996, I'm living in Southern California, and we get a phone call that my dad had been shot and stabbed by a 15-year-old girl. So that, as you can imagine, really shook our family. It was more than devastating, and I had to fly home. And then I have a little crazy Asian Vietnamese mom, and as she was devastated, so I came home to try and take care of all of that. Losing him, of course, created such a stir in my spirit world for me that it was almost like I couldn't see it anymore. I don't think I was
Hmm.
open to it anymore. But it did make me question, like, what the fuck? And so I tried and waited for my dad to contact me or to do something because he's the
Hmm.
one who kept saying, we don't die. I'm going to visit you and play jokes on you. And I just kind of was waiting and waiting. So, as horrible as all of that was, and dealing with the murderer who was going to be in prison for 52 years on this, I really did see my dad one night. And I will just briefly share this. It was really cool. It was actually at my in-laws vacation home in Cape Cod. I don't even think my mother-in-law knows this, but all the girls got
Does
the
now.
stomach flu. She does now. They got the stomach flu, and I remember holding Amanda, my middle, and I had chunks of freaking puke in my hair, and I lay there sobbing. I just had this huge pity party. I was like, whose fucking idea was it to have all these children? I am not cut out to be a mom. I like lost my shit, and I just lay there crying, thinking I was overwhelmed. I was exhausted. And then I felt someone enter the room, and I thought it was my husband. And I'm holding this kid, and I look up, and there I see my dad. And it's just his torso. And he's very transparent, but man, and he showed up in his prime. He was like the strapping 22-year-old in his Air Force fatigues. He was a Vietnam vet. And I knew it was him. And I just put out my hand and I said, Dad, is that you? And he put out his hand, and Anthony, it was like this electricity. Like I just wanted to touch him and see him. And he morphed then into the older dad, which when I
Uh-huh.
say old, he was
Yeah, yeah.
48 when he was killed. So he was so young. But that was the dad I wanted to see. So
Uh-huh.
and all I heard in his voice, I didn't see his mouth move or anything, was, you know, I love you so much and everything's going to be okay. And just like that, he was gone. So
Uh,
I hold on to that. Like
that is
that
so
was
gorgeous.
a gift for me, a
Yeah.
gift. And yeah, so I end up, okay, fine. I'll be a mom of three fucking teenage girls. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. So, so it was a real gift to have him keep me grounded. I felt
Uh-huh.
like he was there. He's still with me. He's still with me. Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway,
so,
so that happened, and then I haven't really seen him since, other
uh-huh.
than with my mediumship. But I wanted to share really quick
Yeah.
about the the forgiveness that I gave to
Mhm.
his
Well,
murderer.
we need
That's
to
a big
talk
part of
about
it.
the archangel, do we?
Well, yes, that comes
Are we
after the
getting to that?
beach.
Okay,
We're
sorry,
getting to that. Yeah,
because
no
I got
problem.
my notes messed up.
No worries.
But
Well, it's about so the murderer, and again, just touching on this, after 20 years spending in jail, she was 16 under when she committed the crime. And there was a new law passed in Washington state that said if you were under 16 that you only had to serve 20 years and that you were releasable. So when I got that information our family did, that meant that we could petition, we could try and fight and stop her from getting early
Hmm.
release. I went into a terrible spiral. I started really, I was very angry. I started to do everything in my power to stop it. I got
Hmm.
gathered letters, we petitioned, I went to the board and met. So we did all this to fight her coming out, and we won. Actually, she was denied. Then 2 months later, she appealed the whole thing. And long story short, there was a hearing that was put on audio CD and sent to me per my request. I don't even know why the fuck I did it. But it replayed everything that happened in the murder. So
Oh
I
my God.
listened to her perspective of what she did to my dad. Shot him twice, took a knife and cut his jugular throat several times. It was
Ugh.
it was very vicious. And then I learned and heard things that I didn't know from the trial 20 years prior. So things that I can't even speak about. And I tore the CD up and I never let my parent or my brothers listen to it because it was so devastating. And I went into a really bad place. I told Spirit to fuck off. I said, I'm done. I do not want
Mhm.
to talk to you anymore. I shut it all off. I was so angry that this girl was going to be released after what she did. And I kind of relived the whole death again,
Yeah.
the whole murder. So that left me in a really bad place as someone who's supposed to be a spiritual medium. I was full of rage and
But we
anger.
have our limits. We
Yeah,
have our limits.
yeah, it was really a bad time, and I think I didn't really let my only my close friends knew how awful it was for me to kind of go
Hmm.
through that again.
Hmm.
But I did have a medium that I phoned on Hay House Radio
Hmm.
that said, brought through my dad, and my dad said, Mayum, if you could find it in your heart one day to release her, that was his wish, that he hopes that I could one day find it in my heart to release her.
Hmm.
And that stuck with me. And I thought, my dad was such a great guy and he loved teenagers. And I know that he forgave her the minute he crossed over. So I thought, okay, ma'am, I got to figure this out because it was zapping my energy. I was full of hate and rage
Hmm.
towards this girl, now, mind you. But she had all this power over me, Anthony, like
Yeah.
a lot of power over
Yeah.
me. So the way I overcame it was I filed for a dialogue and I went, it was a 6 month process, but I went and sat in front of her for
Hmm.
4 hours and ended up giving her my forgiveness. And it was really emotional and hard. But man, I tell you, I am a different person because of it.
Hmm.
It's been very healing for me,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, the whole
Yeah.
thing, I mean, I portend that, well, I don't portend because I don't really warn about this, but I do believe very strongly that forgiveness is important on both sides.
Yep.
I think, just because you're dead, you said that you believe that your father um, forgave her the minute he crossed over.
Yeah.
And I believe he had to, because I've been resuscitated a few times. And I'm saying it very casually. It's the commute is really a pain in the ass, man. I mean, no, I mean,
I
you're going
need
to
to
do
hear
it
more about
eventually,
that.
but it's like, it's really, it ain't all it's cracked up to be. That's all I'm going to say. There was
Wow.
no tunnel of light. There were no angels. There were no harps. It was some work, but it was really amazing and life changing. I'm a very different person since that experience because different things mean different things to you. But one of the
Yeah.
lessons I learned was forgiveness because in the life recall, and I apologize to any of my regular guests that have heard me tell this story before, but it's a really good way of understanding what happens. And I promise I'll be fast this time. If when we're all going to die someday, Mayum. So when it happens to you,
Yeah.
if there's something you said to me during, say, this broadcast or one of our telephone conversations, um, that affected me very strongly, one way or the other, you're going to relive the that moment. You're going to see me as you see me. You're going to hear your voice coming out of your mouth as you do when you're speaking, but you're going to feel what your words made me feel.
I
And
have heard
then,
that,
yeah,
Anthony.
and
Yes.
then you're going to have to. I mean, there were people that I did wrong and they had it coming, okay? Because I'm no sweet. little thing. I mean, I will come for you if if you hurt me or someone
Yes.
that I love,
Yeah.
and I will have no remorse. But there were things that I did have remorse for, and then I had to wish that I was forgiven by that person. And maybe they will contact us either in our dreams, or if you're psychic, they may show up the way Mayume's father did, um, or through a medium, but get a legitimate
Hmm.
one because there's a lot of fake bogus bullshit out there, and we don't need to
Correct.
have our brains twisted by somebody who's exploiting our pain.
Yep.
Um, and then you have to forgive yourself. I had to forgive
Yeah.
myself for hurting people, but I came back. I was really lucky. 7 times. It's like, really?
That's
You can Well,
no
I had some
way.
money then, and I said, well, if I can't take it with me, I ain't going. But that's not really it's just that I was shown what I could do because I wasn't a victim of a crime. I wasn't in an accident. This was an illness, and there was the
Really.
capacity to recover if I wanted to. And of course, I said, "What's in it for me?" And I was shown what's in it for me. So now I'm doing those things. So they were things that I did anyway, but I'm doing them on steroids now. I've dedicated my whole
Oh,
life to it.
I
But
love that.
there was one person, my friend Dave, who was just as crazy. He was just as much of a pain in the ass as I was. He had balls of steel. The two of us, I mean, we were deadly together. Everybody was afraid of us. We were like, um, just like tag team, like nightmares if somebody was wronged. And he was diagnosed, I can say it now because he's deceased, not from this. He died from liver
Mm.
cancer, unfortunately, but he was diagnosed with HIV. And he
Mm.
suddenly crumbled. He became this like vulnerable, terrified, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Well, what makes you think you're gonna die?
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and he said, well, my doctor told me that. I said, you've never listened to anything anyone's ever told you to do. Why are you going to start now with this, idiot? And then everything got really quiet. And I thought, well, fuck that up. And then I changed the subject and I made my exit and we never discussed it again. But after my experience, when I relived that moment and I went through that and I said, well, why are you going to start now? I felt what he was feeling. And it was like, oh my God, he's right. Like this giant weight was lifted, but it was such a stunning transition of how he had to think. It was a complete 180 degrees from where his mindset was that it took him a minute to catch up. And that's what I said, sayonara. And I ran out. He said,
Wow.
that was the most empowering thing that ever happened.
Wow.
So it proved to me that that's how those experiences are. But I say all that because I've had discussions on this show, and there are some of our classmates that are here tonight, and one of them was on one night. And I think it was when Burnett was a guest. And we
Hmm.
were talking about forgiveness and the journey after death. And somehow it got onto the topic of stuck spirits or
Hmm.
earthbound spirits.
Hmm.
Um, and I do know that Hazel, who is here, I love Hazel, and if she wants to
Me
come on
too.
camera, she can raise her hand because I would love to bring her on to join in this discussion because she has very interesting perspective and she shared it with me. And then I realized that maybe what we were talking about on my show that night was misunderstood because when you're doing live stream, you're in the moment and
Yeah.
you can't keep track of what you said or think of what you're going to say next. You just sort of have to roll with it. But she said, and she sent me a video, which I shared with you about somebody
Yep.
who says, no, nobody's earthbound. You know that you're dead. But I do believe that there are things we have to divest ourselves from after we pass. At least this is what I learned from my experience. And then I started pumping the dead people after I came back to life and started working
Yeah.
again. Tell me about that, that process. And they did say that once we pass, we are still connected. We still feel responsible for all the people we had responsibility for while we were alive. We want to tell them we wish we told them we loved them more when we were
Yeah.
here. We want to
Hmm.
tell them we should have had more patience with them or spent more time with them. So it's wonderful to be connected, but they said we have to eventually tie up all those loose ends so that we are free of the human experience. And then we leave
Yes.
the human experience because this is energy that was accrued while we were on earth in this body. Now we're in
Yep.
spirit, but we still have all of that residue, all of that energetic and psychic residue from the earth experience, from the life experience on earth. And we have to
Hmm.
make sure that we can make good, resolve anything that we left unresolved while we have the
Hmm.
opportunity to do it. But we also then have to divest ourselves of any of the human experience so that we can move on to a world of pure spirit where it sounded like you are purged of everything, every opinion, you're just basically pure, neutral, powerful spirit. And then I believe that we come back. I believe in reincarnation, either because it makes the most sense. I choose to believe in it. I don't know
Yeah.
it for sure, but I do believe in it because it makes the most logical sense to me out of anything. And so then we write our soul contract and pick our parents. I must have been really drunk this time around with this soul contract. I must have been
I
rolling
hear
on
that.
Molly when I wrote this one because I don't know who the hell I thought I was, but boy, did I jam pack it with a bunch of BS. And then we come back into the human experience. And I theorize that the human experience that we have to leave behind in order to go through the process of cleansing and purification as a spirit is the part of us that is able to then stay behind and stay connected and then alert our pure spirit self. What do you think?
I actually agree. Well, on several accounts,
Mm,
especially with past lives and the
mhm,
reincarnation.
mhm,
I mean, I do past life regressions with some of my clients too, and there's some great books out there, some great stories about people talking about and experiencing a past life, or even young boys who have talked about, like, I was somebody, and then they fact checked things
mhm,
about their story. So that's really interesting to me. I felt like in my dreams I'm having memories of a
mhm.
past life. But getting back to the stuck earthbound spirit, I was worried that my dad was stuck or earthbound,
Mhm.
only because of the way he was taken so
Right.
violently,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Because
But
sometimes they don't know. The first thing
sometimes
I
they don't
asked them,
know.
do you know you've died? And someone said, oh, that's why nobody's talking to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have come across spirits that don't know, especially if they're younger, or they say to me that it took a while. I didn't realize I had
Hmm.
passed at first, right?
Hmm.
Where are like hovering over their body and they're like, what's
Right.
happening? What's going on?
Yeah.
And then they kind of figure it out. But you're right. They're in transition from
Hmm.
their
It's a
physical form.
process.
It's
Yeah.
a process. I don't
Right.
like to actually do any readings or bring in people who have just recently crossed. I mean, they're going through, that soul is going through so much,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That I shouldn't bring them in for a reading. I'm like, no, we got to wait at
Well,
least
they'll
three
only
months.
stay as long as they can. But when I teach a course in one-on-one mediumship, I call that chapter the newly dead game because there are certain things that newly deceased
I love it.
people have to take care of. Well, the first
Yes.
chapter is called Who's Your Daddy? This is a way to identify who comes to you. But the newly dead game is about
I love you.
understanding the process of having to. I mean, death is traumatic. I mean, it's traumatic for us
Yeah.
to lose someone, but it's traumatic for the dead person too. It's like, holy shit, all of a sudden I'm dead. And they
Yeah.
don't have a handbook. It isn't like Beetlejuice where you have the guidebook. You know?
Oh, that would be so awesome if we did.
We should write
That would be
one.
so. We could write one. I think it would help other mediums who are experiencing this. Like when I
Hmm.
was younger, I wish someone had told me, like, this is what's happening to you. I didn't learn that
Hmm.
until I was in my 40s, like what
Yeah,
was
but I mean,
going
write a
on.
handbook for dead
But
people that we can
for
get
oh
from the deceased. It's sort
oh,
of like
gotcha.
that would be
Yes,
kind
here
of
you go.
fun. Yeah.
Right
But
before you enter this tunnel, stop here,
yeah,
read the
yeah.
instructions. Yeah,
Don't skip
yeah.
chapter 3. It might be a
Oh
little
my
dry, but it's
God.
really important to learn how to do this. Otherwise, you're going to have to come back and start all over again. Um,
That's so
but
funny. Especially the new souls. I say there's
yeah.
some old souls. You know, when you hear someone say, "Oh, they're such an old soul," and you can tell
Mm-hmm.
they've been here and done this many times, and they're
Mm-hmm.
really calm. I feel like they don't need all that time to transition. They're just, yep, got it,
They
boom.
got it
They go
down.
through their
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
review.
Yeah.
They got it
Hmm.
down. It's the newer ones that are
Yeah.
unstable, that are like
First
hovering.
timers.
That
Yeah. The newbies.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I do believe in energy, like the
Uh-huh.
soul is an
Right.
energy, and that we
It
sometimes will
never
leave
goes.
remnants.
Hmm.
Yeah, remnants of a soul left behind.
Hmm.
So I believe that my father left remnants of his soul in the house that I grew up in.
Okay.
I have no doubt, and I think sometimes that he did it on purpose. I think that he wanted to because it was such a place that he loved.
I've heard
Same thing
that.
with the
I've heard
right
that from
a place that he loved.
when I have to do location suite when like there's a real estate company that calls me when something's a little
Oh,
weird.
right.
And
Yeah.
there's that. They visit places that really touch their heart when they were alive. But
Yeah.
there's also something called psychic residue. That when something very emotional happens, it almost like it leaves the person and becomes a thought form of its own, almost like a poltergeist, where it's just
Or
kinetic
like an
energy that
imprint.
plays over and over and over. Like say there was something really traumatic that happened to you in your living room,
Yeah.
chances are
Yeah.
that the shock of that experience, the emotional shock and the psychic shock, is going to leave that part of you there. It's almost like in psychotherapy when you're traumatized, part of you is arrested at that point of trauma. The rest of your
Hmm.
development continues moving on, but there's always going to be a trigger. It's called the original wound. And then we try
That's
as
interesting.
therapists and as patients to heal others and ourselves of that original wound because every wound that is inflicted subsequently because of that wound then is healed simultaneously. But it's like finding the very first vampires that they all stop. I don't know if you remember that
Yeah.
about vampires. If
You gotta
Dracula made
find.
10 brides and you can either kill them all at once, you can kill him and they all die with him.
That's
So this is
right.
like,
That's
so
right.
that's what the wounds are, the
Okay.
psychological wounds are like. But the
Uh,
trauma, I mean, imagine how plutonic that energy is. It's like boom, like a meteor hitting the earth. It's like a shock to the person. And that
yes.
can be left there and that can be a discord. So that creepy
Hmm.
feeling that you as a
Yeah.
psychic, you can walk into a room
Yeah.
and say, well, nobody's here, but
Yes.
I feel like something's up, something's funky around here. And it could be
Definitely.
somebody else's trauma. But in the case of what we were talking about, I do believe that the part of your human experience that you have to leave behind once you're in spirit, energy cannot be destroyed. And that
No.
will remain
It just.
because we
Hmm.
still have responsibility to our loved ones that we've left behind. So a piece of us needs to be accessible and able to be accessed and
Hmm.
also to access them. So we're
Yeah.
moving on in purity of spirit, but my kids are still alive. Well, I forgot to have kids, but I mean, if I did, I would say my children and my grandchildren are going to need me to look over them so that everything I yanked out of my spirit that was connected to the earth is still active and still
Yeah.
able to be accessed. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I choose
And
to
that's
believe
what
that.
I choose to believe that same thing. I choose to believe that a place isn't haunted per se
Right.
by a spirit who is making this choice to, I
Mhm.
mean, bother people. I mean, could a spirit probably do that? Yes, but a lot of
I'm
it is like
going
you said.
to.
Yeah. Well,
I
my
have a
dad said he
list.
was going to too. So right.
I have a list. I'm going to really fuck people up. No, there's some people that
Oh
really have it
my
coming. Yep. But I don't recommend
god. I
it.
love it.
It's my bad. I'll burn for it. But
Oh,
yeah,
you're so funny.
I know exactly where I'm going to go hang out once I bail out
Yeah.
of here.
Yeah.
Once
Right.
I
I
bail
mean,
out of here.
there was a really quick, there was, after we sold the house that I grew up in,
Hmm.
I should say, we were renting, my mom was renting it out and rented it out to one of my brother's childhood friends. And he had an
Hmm.
18-month-old little boy who was in my old bedroom, actually,
Uh-huh.
who kept telling them, Ghost Danny, Ghost Danny. My dad's name was Danny.
Oh,
Ghost Danny,
wow.
Ghost Danny was in there. And they're like, what? And he said he kept seeing a ghost named Danny. And he did say he talked about how he had blood
Okay.
on his neck.
Okay.
And I just felt for the kid. I mean, young, he was
Yeah.
scared, but I just thought, wait a second, does that mean my dad is in the house and
That's
scaring
where he
this little
used to talk
child?
to you about this.
That's where he used to talk
Yeah.
to me. That was a special,
Oh my
my
God, that's so
bedroom. I just thought it was
beautiful.
weird. It was my bedroom, yeah. That ghost Danny. But I mean, of course, his dad was freaking out. My brother's friend was like, "Holy shit, Dan's still in the house." You know, they didn't stay too much longer after that, but
That's okay, but he might have
but
just
I
been
just
looking in on him. But it's interesting that he presented himself that way, or maybe it was the residue because he has to leave the pain of his death.
yes,
behind.
I felt it was a
Yeah.
residue, an imprint, a
Uh,
part of him.
yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe to prove, like knowing that the boy might tell his father who he was,
Hmm.
but I don't know. There was only one
Very
Danny that
cool.
lived in that house. So
So, um,
anyway, yeah.
you do all
So,
kinds of things though, because you do a few
yeah,
other things that I would like. The only reason why I'm kind of stepping on the gas here is that it's quarter
yeah,
to eight, and
it is.
I want, and if you're up to it, I would love for you to do a demo, but I would like
I
for
would
you
love
to
to.
talk about the other things that you do, the other ways that you work as a healer, and the ways that you help people, and let people know how they can get hold of you. So,
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, so I have a website called Guided Gatherings. And like I said before, I'm a spiritual medium and intuitive healer, meaning I connect with your angels, your spirit guides, and your beautiful departed loved ones across the veil. And so when you have a reading with me, depending on your needs, I will help you through talking and reaching your loved ones. Sometimes people come to me just for a psychic reading where they just want some guidance and some insights. So that's when I'll tap into your guides, see what your guides have got going for you, and we'll
mhm,
have a great conversation. I'm very easy, laid back. I like to have a lot of fun and I love creativity. So I kind of started off doing this with gathering women together in these really sacred, super fun social gatherings. So we would have painting parties. I used to call it painting with a special medium, where we would paint something and
mhm.
then I would deliver messages from spirit. Then it turned into dot mandala rock painting parties. So you would always leave with something that to remember the night. And the reason why I did it this way, not only just to help me kind of get used to almost like a public demonstration, was to help others who were like, I don't know if I believe in this and I don't know how
Mhm.
I feel about this, but I'll come paint some fucking rocks, So they'll come and they'll drink wine with their besties, they'll paint some rocks,
Mhm.
and then they listen to their friends getting messages, and they too will heal. They too, it serves the greater good. So it's a kind of a buffer, and I think it makes it
Mhm.
kind of it's fun. So they walk away with a beautiful experience, and out of that then they would maybe contact me individually to say I would love a reading with you. So I do that. Journaling jam sessions are one of my favorites. I love writing and I love automatic writing and connecting with spirit and channeling. So I teach a
Mhm.
lot of that.
That's a whole show
And
all
I
itself.
it is
That's a
it
whole other
is
show
it's
we
good
can do
stuff.
together. That would
Good
be
stuff.
fun.
I
Yeah,
would love
we should
that
do that.
because I was able to channel some stuff from my dad, and
Uh,
it's good shit. And then I do sacred circles for women, which I gather women monthly. We talk about fun topics like this. And I do soul sessions one on one where I help
mhm.
people do past life regression, soul retrieval, which is really interesting. We were talking about that.
Mhm.
And cutting cords with Archangel Michael. He's my guy. I work with him almost every day. Yeah, he's my spiritual teacher.
Okay.
So I
And
do all that.
Sarah, who was very sweet, put up a link. It says Mayume's wonderful site, guidedgatherings.com. So I want everybody to please make a note of that or
Oh,
copy it and paste it from chat.
thank you,
Okay.
Sarah.
And
Oh my
do
gosh, you're so sweet.
explore, see what her website tells you more about her. I can't imagine not falling in love with her, but I think it would be great
Yeah.
to have a session with her.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you, a session with me it entails this. If you were just to contact me, you want to do a Zoom or a phone, this is what I have you do. I have you write down on a piece of paper, wait long before we meet, and you write down areas of your life that you would like insight or guidance. Write down the names of the loved ones that you hope to connect with. I don't ever see that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know anything about you. I want a blank slate.
mhm,
And then we show up. I'm very casual, very easy, and I do swear a lot, but I make it so that you feel so at ease with me that like we're two
mhm.
girlfriends talking, have a conversation. Bring your wine, bring your coffee, and I will
You
then
said
bring
bras
in and
are
see.
optional too, right?
Bras are always optional. I did put on a bra for you tonight, Anthony. But
That's was
yeah,
their
bras
first
are
name.
optional. And I will then see what spirit has to say. And then
Uh-huh.
I always allow like the last 10, 15 minutes to have you look at your piece of paper. And if spirit hasn't brought up anything, then we will make sure and do it the last 10 minutes so the person feels complete. So, and honestly, 9 times out of 10, spirit checks all the boxes. So
Uh-huh.
it's really
It's
good.
amazing how they do that. But that would be great. And I would love for you to, love for all of you to experience, a little dose of Mayum
Oh,
because she
you're
puts a
so
big
sweet,
smile on
guys.
your face. She has this wonderful solar energy, and she is an Aries, so she's like straight to the point. She doesn't beat around the bush or get crazy or talk too much like the Gemini here. Um, so before
That's
we
awesome.
do any kind of a
Yeah.
demo, you can
Yeah.
use chat as a way to speak out loud, or you can use the raise my hand function. But does anybody have any questions about anything we spoke about or anything that they'd like to know from Mayum?
And
You can let me know and I'll bring you up on camera. And so we could talk a little bit about that. But would you share the story about Michael at the beach?
yes. So, as I had said earlier, you guys, when my dad was murdered and then his murderer was trying to get released, and she ended up being released, by the way, I had that summer of where I spiraled. I was drinking a lot. I gained all this weight back that I had just recently lost. I was in a really nasty, gnarly, dark place for me. And I told Spirit to fuck off. I don't ever want to see another spirit again. And I went on this camping trip. My brother, childhood friend's wife, who I had met a couple times, but I didn't know her very well. We're drinking White Claws on the beach, and again, I'm just doing whatever the hell I want, and I can tell that she's pretty intuitive because we're having some cool conversations. But she comes up to me, she puts her sunglasses down, and she says, "Hey, I have, I don't even know if you've heard of or believe in Archangel Michael, but I have a message for you. Are you willing to receive it?" And I was like, what? I remember thinking, what did she just say to me? And she said, yeah, he has a message for you. He says it's time to come back. And I lost my shit. I started bawling. Because nobody, not even my husband, knew that I worked with Archangel Michael.
Hmm.
Nobody knew that. How the hell did this broad know that? I mean, I was just drinking White Claws on the beach, and she comes up, lays it on me. So that to me, I said, okay, I'll come back. And that's when I started guided gatherings.
Mhm.
Really and truly. That's how
Excellent. So that was your
yeah.
send off back into. So, yeah. So if you think about everything that happened, you were traumatized. You had to
Yep.
forgive a lot of
Yep.
people, including yourself. And then, you weren't off the hook because your archangel was like, hold on, bitch. You got one more here. We got we got to
I
get this
know.
together. That is so sweet. And then
It
you
was
just got
awesome.
pulled back into it. And I'll bet is your experience as a healer and a reader different than it was prior to telling them all to go to hell? Because I went on strike for
Yes.
30 years as a medium. I kept on reading tarot, but it's like, oh no, you don't know how to respect the dead. Fuck all of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it
It
just
was
was different.
amplified. It was
Yeah.
different. It was
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
amplified. It was clearer. It was a little crisper because it is kind of like talking to someone through a fucking shower curtain. I mean, let's be
Hmm.
honest. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's the symbols and the clues that I rely on, but when they're talking and I'm getting this knowing, it was amplified once I surrendered. Once I said, "Okay, okay, I'm back." Because
Mhm.
I really did. I took like 4 months off. I told Spirit to fuck off, and then Archangel Michael said it was time to come back. So
Now I have a
here I
question
am.
for you in chat about that. From
Yes.
Jacqueline Christina. Jacqueline, would you like to come on camera or do you want
Yeah.
to? All right, so let's
Is that how you
get
say it,
her.
Jacqueline? That's beautiful.
That's how I say it, but I'm like a snob.
Is
So
it
there we go.
Jacqueline? Jacqueline? Jacqueline?
Jacqueline Christina, yes.
Jacqueline
Jacqueline.
Christina.
Jacqueline.
Okay.
Jacqueline.
It's just not Jackie, ever,
Oh,
ever.
that's good to know.
Under
How are
any
you?
circumstance. It's awesome listening to your story, and I love hearing about how, you told Spirit to fuck off. You weren't in the space for it. So maybe I have some sequential questions. When you did that, were they still knocking at the door for those 4 months, or did they give you space?
They gave me space. I could fucking
Wow.
sleep for once. Yeah. No, they
Wow.
gave me space because I don't sleep very well because they're knocking on my door, right? Yeah, no, they did. It's funny looking back, I never thought about it anymore. I kind of decided I was going to be fully human experience
Yeah.
from here on,
When you're
not
done,
going to
you're
deal
done.
with all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't until that message that I was like reignited.
Wow. And
Yeah.
so so my initial question was like, how did you suddenly reconnect? So,
That's
you
a
got
great
them,
question.
and then did you sit with it and you were like, okay, bring it on, mofo? Or did you like, uh,
Exactly. No, Jacqueline,
really?
I sat with it, and I remember that night, after I got back from camping, because I still wanted to drink White Claw on the beach, but I went home and at night, because that's when I do most of my talking, I was like, okay, bring it on. Let's, I'm ready. And I did. And then that's when all of these freaking visitors would line up in a row, and most
Hmm.
of them are old and wrinkly. I'm just going to say that most of them were showing me that they were elderly, and they'd like look down like, come on, Mayu, let's go. So I felt like this, it was time to get to work.
Hmm.
That's what it felt like.
And
Wow.
you described like there was more clarity, I guess, or you said it was amplified. So I was just curious, did your process change in
Yes, my
in in your, I guess maybe your language, or when
so
you say
I
amplified?
my clairvoyance was amplified, my clairsentience, they were using my
Hmm.
body now where I could feel it. It
Hmm.
was always there, but I felt like it was had doubled.
Right. It's like
And I
being
was already an
hypersensitive.
hypersensitive.
Yeah.
I was always an empath, but now when I walk into a grocery store, I felt it 10 times more. So I was hypersensitive. I could feel, see, and then I started to hear. It felt like they turned the switch on up a little louder
Hmm.
for me. Yeah.
Right,
Some of
that's
it
really
was scary, and some of it was like, this is really cool. Yeah.
Hmm.
wow.
Yeah.
And you mentioned like going into a grocery store. Did have things changed in how you manage your like your boundary of personal space? Like,
Yeah.
I'll pick up the phone now, but I'm not. You're going to let me grocery shop, right?
Yes. Well, especially if I was in a bar. I just remember for some reason you're in a bar, and I try not to do anything with alcohol, right? Connect. And then
Yeah.
you've got like someone going da, 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 and I could feel it when I'm talking to someone, like they got a grandmother behind them or somebody. And it was a nuisance. I just be like so distracted by it. And I take a lot of courses. That's how I met Anthony with Lisa Williams. And I've learned from Suzanne Giesman, and I have learned from other mediums, how to create a boundary so that I could
Hmm.
say no, and then
Hmm.
when I could say yes. So that helped me manage it. So, and honestly, when on a weekend with my girlfriends, hi girlfriends, I'm fucking no. I'm closed for business. I want to drink White Claw and laugh with my bitches. But when I'm
Hmm.
working, I sit down, I do my sage. I'm just like, bring it on. And I feel like they appreciate that. I feel like they know. Okay, everyone. Hey, listen up. Mayhem's ready. Let's go. So it's just kind of this deal that I've made that works for me now. Yeah.
Well, I think it's amazing. I mean, I know it's a heavy responsibility, but I think it's amazing that you are doing what you're doing, right? Because it's
Oh,
healing at the deep
thank you.
level. So
It
thank you.
is thank you for saying that. You're so sweet. Well, it healed me, right? I mean, I needed it first. I needed to heal myself first with my dad. And so
Hmm.
once I got over that hump and learned forgiveness and was able to really truly, I mean really truly fucking forgive. I
Well,
have fully forgiven her. I don't feel that ickiness over me anymore when I say her name or think of her, because before I would want to throw up just thinking about her. I don't have that anymore. That is truly gone. That's where it was getting in the way of spirit. I think that's what was holding me back from seeing it so clearly. Once that
mhm.
was gone, it's like the veil, there's just another veil was removed. Yeah.
I just had an interesting thought about that. And
Tell me.
I'm not saying take it to the bank, but I am saying think about it and chew on it later. It could be really great food for thought. We spoke earlier about how um, our psyche is arrested by trauma at a point of development. If you had a trauma when you're 7, you're going to be afraid to move past that because it's so stunningly shocking that that part of you is frozen in that time. and then the
Mm-hmm.
rest of you moves on. But anytime that somebody says something or has a body language or something that reminds you, that trigger goes, and then they end up paying for that person's sin. Now, what's interesting is your father sounds like he was a really supportive part of your development as a psychic by
Yes.
accepting you. And maybe you were so traumatized by his passing that
Yes.
you couldn't, until you forgave his murderer. That's
Yes.
when all of your abilities came back on steroids. So it's almost like you
On
healed that
steroids.
wound. That's something interesting to
Mhm.
ponder.
Yeah.
Um,
I know of that for a fact.
okay.
That is for
Oh,
a
excellent.
fact.
Yeah.
I had to go through that shitty process.
Hmm.
And I had to feel all the emotions.
Yeah.
And then once I did that work, and it was not fucking easy, but once I
No,
did that work, it is a,
it's
it's almost like
liberating.
it's liberating. I felt like my soul ascended one level.
Hmm.
I felt
Hmm.
like I went up one notch in helping in doing this work. I just felt like then it was became a calling, right? You know, people have a
Yeah.
job, a
You
career.
owned it. You
This is a
totally owned
calling.
it. You
Yeah.
owned it. Actually, Shannon says Uncle Dan was an amazing man.
He
That is
really
so
was.
sweet.
He was
Well, I'm
amazing.
looking at his product, and he had a hand in creating you, and
Ah,
both
you're
your
so
parents, I
sweet.
think, did a really great job because you're
Oh,
fascinating, you're honest, you're
oh my
authentic,
God.
and you're
You're
very,
my
very
new best
talented.
friend, Anthony.
Well, you'll grow to hate me soon. Um, I also saw something earlier in chat from my friend Kelly, who's
Hmm.
changed her name to iPhone this evening. When she was talking about dreams, she said after watching last week's show, I had a dream about my cousin Lisa, who you knew, Anthony, and actually Burnett contacted Lisa
Mm,
on the show that she was a guest on.
really?
And when she first said, I see a woman here, she has brown hair. I saw Lisa's face, but I didn't say anything as I just figured maybe it's just me being an idiot. And then as she kept on going, Kelly raised her hand and she knew her and it was her. And then she even said, oh, because, because she was very direct. She was
Yeah.
like totally one of us, just like shoots it from the hip. And
Love
she
it.
wasn't letting, she was yelling at Burnett. It's like, just hurry up. It's like, well, I can't hurry up. They have
I
to.
love it. I know
And
spirit, and
and she
they
was, oh,
come
and hello,
through.
Anthony. Hi, Anthony. I said, oh, thank you, baby. Oh,
Oh,
your cousin Shannon is so sweet. She says, I love you, my
oh,
beautiful cousin. Well, we all love
I'm,
her now tonight
oh,
after
thanks.
meeting
I
her.
love you too,
Um,
Shannon.
do
Thank you.
you feel like doing
Yeah, let's do it. I'm
all
ready.
right, go
I
ahead.
already have someone. Yeah, I'm ready
Okay,
if everyone
so
else
this is
is
the way it's
ready
going to
here.
be. When you hear what Mayum is saying, raise your hand in with the reactions function in Zoom, and then
You'll
she'll
see that at the
continue bringing
bottom.
evidence. And if you think you know who she's talking about, the more evidence, all of the evidence has to align with the person you think. So if she has it all right, except for one, if there's a few people with raised hands, lower your
Hmm.
hand when it is no longer 100% for the person you're imagining, because it gets
Yeah.
really hard. I mean, everybody wants to hear from a loved one, but you said you have
Yep.
somebody. We don't want to keep them waiting because they're dead and they can kill us. Okay. They got nothing to worry about. They already dead. So,
I love the sense of humor. This is fun. This is what it's about, right? I don't want people to think this is, woo woo and it's scary and like we've opened a portal and bringing all weird shit in. This is about really raising the vibration, getting into that high frequency, that the
hmm.
medium
Hmm.
space that we're in, right? That's we're in that space and they're coming down to meet with us. So let's start with and again, I'm a little nervous too because there's a lot of people here, but I'll tell you, there's a gentleman that is standing to my right, and he comes in this is so funny. He's my father's stand over here, like that's where my dad would hang out too, right? If he knows this gentleman's, he's fairly tall, and he feels like a father figure. He keeps moving in really close to me, actually, because I feel like he's like, "Can we get on to it?" Because I don't have much time, and he's kind of a little bit. And I'm being very respectful. He's a little bit hunched over. Okay, he's got a little bit of a hunch. I feel like he would have worn glasses towards the end of his life. He does have pants that are pulled up a little high. I'm going to say he's not a young whippersnapper, so he's probably, I want to say 80s. Are you? Yes, I feel 80s. And his attire feels like also um, an era of brown polyester. I'm just going to say that. So he comes in here, but he's full of kindness and oh my gosh, he's just like so close. I need him to back just one step back, please. He is talking about, okay, so a couple things. He's mentioning a piano. So he shows me a piano, some music, something. I don't know if he played the piano or if the person he's here for is playing the piano. I do see cigarettes, but I can tell that that was not anymore. That was long, like he probably smoked in his early years. I do not feel like he smoked later in life, but and the reason why I know that because he doesn't tickle my throat and make me cough. He's like shows me the cigarette. He's very kind, gentle, and he has a great sense of humor. But thank you. He kind of gives me like this little side, like his little mouth kind of goes up as he smiles. He's very gentle. That's the main thing. And can you tell me how you passed me? Okay, he's showing me his hands. Oh gosh, I feel like I know. I think I know who it is. He's showing me his hands, which were very large hands, and I feel like this was important. And his knuckles also that were right of his age. So probably his joints were a little swollen. He's got some brown spots. He's talking about he liked cars. There's something about a long, big ass car to like an Oldsmobile car. What does that mean? That he either owned or had in a garage. So a long car, bigger car. And I feel like this is someone. Okay, it's a daughter that he's reaching. I feel like it's a daughter that's here. Does anybody? Do you, Anthony,
you had me until the daughter thing.
Wait.
My life partner. Go ahead. Wait, what? No, get more evidence because it might not. I don't want somebody else to lose out. Everything was right. Everything was him until the daughter.
So I'm okay. So that's interesting because, okay, like I said, he's got a gentle sense of humor, but it's something about holding hands, right? He's shown me this picture specifically, and there might have been even a picture of it, but holding hands. I feel like this was a sense of comfort for him, and so,
no, it's him. It's him.
It is.
It's him. I'm sorry. Did anybody else did anybody else feel anything connected while Mayume was giving? Because I don't want to. Did we have another hand?
And he keeps showing me the big car, the big like long car.
Yeah.
So Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hold on. Let me see.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, give me.
Who has hands raised?
Sarah did.
Okay.
Sarah, did your father smoke in his younger years? Okay. No? Yes?
Okay.
Go ahead, Sarah. I feel like, do you see her there?
Wait, let me unmute you.
Raise your... Long time ago. Okay. All right. I want to keep going and get more evidence. So he did. Sarah, I did not know that if he smoked a long time ago. Okay. It's something about the glasses too. Did he there's black rimmed glasses. Anthony did.
Christian wore glasses toward the end. He needed glasses toward the end. He had scoliosis, which in his later years bent him a little bit. His hand, when I threatened my way into the ER because he was in an extended care facility, his left hand was broken, which is why it was, the knuckles were, and he did stop smoking 25 years ago, cold turkey.
Okay. Let's see.
So
what else does he bring up?
That's what that's why I think, but see if you can get more evidence.
I am going to, he's talking about a backpack. This is really interesting because he doesn't look like a fellow that would carry a backpack. Does that make sense to you, Anthony? Or yes, okay. So it's so funny. This is what we mediums do when we start to doubt ourselves. I know
because I'm doubting me now. I don't want to steal it from somebody else.
Backpack. That's okay. He shows me a back. It's like a picture, backpack, and then I question it, going, that doesn't make sense to me. Why would you carry a backpack? Give me something else. But he keeps saying no, and he keeps showing me like there's a story behind a backpack. So,
yep.
Okay. Okay. So that makes sense to you. And then did he also have oxygen? I feel like there's talk about oxygen.
At the end, they had to do
Okay.
that to him
All
because
right, at
of
the end.
his of the way he died.
Okay, and there's something about his stomach.
It
All
was
right, I
that
just
he
want
had
to.
a perforated small intestine from actually from being
Okay.
blunt force trauma in the facility
Oh shit.
that was in
Yeah.
lockdown.
Okay, because he's bringing all this awareness to my stomach, and I feel like I'm a little bloated and
Yeah.
tender, and it's all just kind of fucked up. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was
Um,
there with him,
yeah.
and and holding his hand was what I used to do
Okay.
when he was
Um,
in a state of dementia, and holding his hand calmed him down. And at the end, I was holding his hand.
and you're holding. So what throws me about this, and I don't know if he's got this sense of humor, is where he chooses to stand
Hmm.
is where fathers are. So if he was, your lover, they would be in front of me, but he comes in like this and he gets so close to me. Like I feel like he's like, you're gonna talk about me.
Hmm.
Like I felt like he was like, you've got to bring me in. Okay. So and I do I okay. He is very funny. I mean, he's a
Hmm.
very kind, gentle soul, but he's funny. He's got a
Hmm.
great sense of humor. Tell me about the smile. He keeps showing me like this little crook in his.
He always had it's a very crooked smile. As a matter
Oh
of
my
fact,
gosh.
there was
Okay.
somebody because I'll send you, I'll text you a picture of him.
I would
His
love that.
smile was always a little crooked. Yeah.
He just pulled out of his back pocket a letter of an apology to you. Okay,
Okay.
so I just want to say this, and he blows you a kiss. Like he's doing this, but the letter of apology is because I was like, "Why are you apologizing?" And he says to I pulled him through all that shit. Okay, so he feels as though like he dragged you through a lot of shit. Okay, pulled you through this. So he's sorry for dragging you along for the ride. Anthony, I
It
didn't know
was
I
my
was going to read
privilege
yours.
to serve him.
Oh
The big
gosh.
car, by the way, he used to, when he was living at home, he would take his mother's giant white convertible Oldsmobile and go cruising
Oh
around
my.
Chicago in it. So
That's
that was
hysterical.
another tell. The backpack, we were making up from a falling out in Central Park, and we were like making out on this big flat rock because we were both such bitches. We didn't want to do it in our own apartment. And then
No,
at
of
one
course not.
point, he was lying on top of me. And then he
No.
stops. He says, "How do you feel about big furry things?" And I says, "Please don't tell me you have a gorilla suit in your backpack." But it was a raccoon that actually crawled across my chest because I said, "Back up very slowly. Don't piss it off. It's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's
Oh,
probably fucking rabid. So just back away." And he backs away very slowly. And that thing just treads across my chest. I'm like, I was afraid to breathe and ever since then, anytime that one of us got something wrong, like if we guessed wrong what the other person was saying, we called it a gorilla in the backpack moment.
oh my gosh,
So
the backpack. I
that's
love
why.
that.
Now
Yeah.
this is interesting, but the
Okay.
letter of apology is not necessary because when you're partners, you're just there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I
Yeah.
know what he's because he did try to keep it from me. And I also kept his condition from myself. He had progressive dementia for the last 8 years of his life, and the last four were very busy. I'll say there was a
Okay.
lot of
I see that.
responsibility, but
I'm so sorry. Yeah, he
no,
he's
no,
very
he's
I
amazing.
I I he's amazing, and I feel I need to say he's very much in love with you because he shows me a card
He's right
with your
here.
name and a what
I keep a little
what's
bit of his ashes in a silver
oh my
cylinder
gosh.
around my
Okay,
neck.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, your name with a little heart underneath it, like in a card. Like he's in love with you. Like he's still you are his love. Understand? I just want you to know that you are still his love. Thank you. He just said thanks for letting me come into your space because he was so like in my space. I don't usually
that's
have him that close. He's just like came right up here. So, what's with the polyester pants, Anthony? Like, what is that?
that had to do. There was a picture of him when he first moved to New York. I think it was like 1969 or 1970,
Oh my
and
gosh.
he had them on.
Oh my
And
gosh. Well,
as
there you
he
go.
grew older, he did have scoliosis. When he hit around
Okay.
70, he started to stoop a little bit, and he would wear suspenders to keep his pants up
To
because,
keep his pants up.
yeah. So that's why you said
Yeah.
they were a little high. So
Yes,
all
there.
those clues,
Yeah. Right.
But I
All
still
right.
feel this is do you as a medium, I hope I didn't bogart somebody. It had to. There were too many things that made
There was
sense.
too
So
many things. And I
yeah.
would say, I think it was Sarah that had her hand up that
Uh-huh.
I don't know if the backpack made any sense to her, but it felt like I was trying to, okay, it did not. She says no. So that's how, isn't it funny how close sometimes spirit is,
Yeah,
it's like so many
yeah.
things get in alignment and then boom, one thing will flip
Right.
it.
That's why
So
I took my hand down when you
yeah.
said
Okay.
daughter. It's like,
But I'm wondering if he referred to you as like his bitch, like his girl. So I
no,
don't know.
well, no, but somebody did think, somebody asked him once if I was his son.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Because once he submitted to the inevitability of what would happen to him while he was still lucid most of the time, he
Yeah.
then just started aging. He just,
Gotcha.
yeah, he like overnight, he looked
Oh,
much
wow.
older.
Much older.
And then when I would
Okay.
visit him, oh, was that your son? And I said, no, I'm his bitch.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
What?
that's the
I got
bitch
all up in
statement.
their
Okay.
face.
That's awesome. I gotcha. Oh, gosh. Well, I just want to bless his sweet soul. Thank you so much, Christian, for joining us. And well, Anthony, there you go. I honestly, I figured he'd be the last person that would come through tonight, not the first.
Yeah, me
Maybe
too.
just get it out of the way. All right. So let's go. I'm going to shift the room a little bit and
Mhm.
try to see who else is here. Okay, so I do have female energy coming in, like a grandmother, actually, and also with a sister. I feel like there's a female to my left that grandmother, mom, but there's a sister linked to her, like they're arm in arm. So they tell me this, so it could be someone's grandmother and great aunt, or someone's mom and aunt. Aunt. Am I going to say aunt? Aunt. Okay, so let's see. They're arm in arm linked. Um, Okay. So one feels like grandmother, and she feels, and I sometimes grandmothers love to come in. They like to come in and say they love each other, love you. But they come in, this one comes in about food. So I will say this is a food thing, and she's got shoulder length hair that's kind of I would say brown, but maybe highlights of blonde. She's very bubbly and I'd say very full of life and energy. She comes in just with very dynamic and like well, she would walk in and be like, "Hi everybody, how is everybody?" And she'd come in with her like a casserole and put it on the table and I brought food. She's got that kind of energy. Who are you linked with here? Sister, younger sister, younger. I can't tell age, younger sister. Can you tell me? And okay, try. I don't like to do names because names, if it's wrong, will shut the energy. The person, I might get all these evidence, and if the name's wrong, but she is making me aware of the name Jenny. I just want to say, and the name Jenny. And I
Mhm.
don't know if that's someone here. I don't necessarily mean it's her name, but awareness to a name of J. So J, Jenny, Jen, Janny, J. It's a J name or a J sound. Okay, she's talking about her necklace. It's almost like this. So she's going like this on her chest with her necklace. There's some importance there. Sometimes when they do that, that might mean that they're a woman of faith when they do that, when they're holding a necklace like this. So she's bringing awareness to that. All right, thank you. And then I'm also in my chest, I'm getting like this anxiety that's taken over me. So it's an anxiety type of feeling, heart, chest. And there's this also this sorrow of leaving the way like leaving her family behind. I feel like she was kind of like the anchor of the family, that she was the one that took care of everyone, and when so losing her, but there's some kind of anxiety going on. I don't know if she had depression or anxiety. No, sorry, thank you. She says not depression but anxiety, and it's in my chest, almost like at the lower sternum. So she's bringing this awareness, this feeling. Okay, does anybody resonate with this? Your hand, anybody with this woman and possibly an aunt that they're linked arm in arm. So, and then again, the necklace. Can you give me something else? Food. Okay, she left. She did. She feels. She's telling me that she left her husband behind. She makes me feel very hot now. So when I feel very hot, it's like a sickness. Okay, that means I'm very sick. I've died of an illness of some sort. Thank you. All right. I'm going to say that it's very possible she died of breast cancer or some form of cancer. And I say that because she shows me her bosom. All right. She's just like making me aware of her breasts. And then she makes me feel sick. So it's very possible that sometimes that's a connection of breast cancer. So grandmother or mother. And I can't see. People know how to raise their hand. Is anyone here familiar with this? No? Okay. Oh,
Somebody wants to know if she had Hodgkin's.
Okay, that's in the chest area, right? Yes. I feel like a yes. Okay, let me see if I can get more. I'm going to say this, even though she comes
Would the necklace be a family heirloom? I'm reading in chat because I will say to the person who's posting in chat, I thought so too. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, because it's very much noticeable. I'll put my mic down that she's like holding on to this something that's very special. Okay, so I'm gonna say yes. We're kind of talking about something now. She's bringing up again. I go doubt. She's bringing up a bicycle or bike. Hi there. Okay, who do we have? This Nicole? No, who is this?
I don't know what the hell I just did.
Oh, did you? Okay, I thought maybe you were bringing
I did something. No, I was clicking something to change. Oh my God. I don't know what's going on. Let me
to see that I could speak to them, right?
Yeah. Oh God.
No problem. No, I'm going to keep going with the flow.
Why am I viewing your screen? I'm viewing. Okay, let's see if I can stop. View options. Stop. Okay, so. Okay, things are better now.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah. No
okay,
problem.
Great. Sorry. So sorry. But Jenny Horn was in chat and was asking.
Okay.
Would the necklace be a family heirloom? That was the last question she asked.
Let me see. I'm gonna say yes because there was importance there, but I also want to see, is it Keisha that's also got her hand up?
Yes.
Do I see that?
Yes. Okay, I just saw that. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Let's
Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna bring in a little bit more also. There's mention, again, this is where I start to question, like, really? Out of the blue, she's talking about something about a bicycle. Okay, a bike. And so it's like in the background, she's mentioning a bike, and I don't know what I'm trying to see how this is really, but it's just a flash of a bike. So I don't know if she rode bikes in her younger years or if there was a story about a bike. So let me see if I can get more, because that's really just kind of flat. It just feels like a bike. So if we're talking about this again. Okay, thank you. She's talking about now being in the hospital, and she's showing me the bed. And she's showing me that there was a blanket that was also placed over her legs. Okay, I just want to say that there's something about the blanket that either was knitted or crocheted or quilt, like something that was homemade, that she's saying at the time of her death in the hospital that there was a blanket, maybe it was in the hospital, maybe at home. It's about the bed and the blanket crossing over her. So at the time of her passing, being surrounded by loved ones. So did that switch things and we lose people?
Keisha, does that still sound like the person you were thinking?
It's really Alex's aunt, but he's not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure about that's okay. So
I wasn't there when she was in the hospital, and so I don't know about the blanket.
You don't know about the blanket.
Okay. So Stacy Chuli in chat says my aunt died of cancer, had anxiety of not being able to breathe, and my mom wore a gold 4 on her neck that my son wears. They are sisters. Is that consistent with any?
Yes, that's consistent. And they come in linked in arms because they kind of come in together. I just want to say, so they were close in life. Yes.
Stacy, do you want to come on camera? Raise your hand.
Can I talk to Stacy?
Where'd she go?
I'm sorry, Keisha.
Oh, wait.
There you are.
There, but yes.
I have
Stacy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thanks for being here. So let's talk. Let's see if we can build some energy here. Yeah. So this is. Did you say your mom and aunt?
My mom and aunt. They were close in life.
They were close in life.
And my aunt who passed had breast cancer. Then it moved to something else, but she had extreme anxiety because she couldn't breathe.
Yes. Okay, thank you. And sometimes when they come in together like that, sometimes they're like blasting me with images and stuff. So I'm just, speaking, so I'm not sure which one it refers to.
Okay.
But
Well,
so
well,
when
let's
they
just
come in,
ask. Can we ask Alex? I mean, Alex, are you still thinking it might be your aunt as well? And let me get my cat off the keyboard.
hi, Kat.
Okay.
No, I don't think so because I see Stacy's energy.
Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna say the same, Anthony. I think I'm taking Stacy. I feel like it's a connection with Stacy.
Yeah,
Okay.
as you started, I'm like, that's them.
Yeah. So, I mean, were they a little well endowed as
Yes.
well?
Well, yes.
Yes, obviously. Okay. And I want to speak to their energy as they come in. Like, not all the times do I get them linked arm in arm, but I know exactly what that means. Like, they're sisters and they live life together. They are fun. Can I just say this? They are great energy. They're like kind of like the life of the party where they were laughing and having a great time together. So I also want you to know that they're together now as they show up like this, right? They come in together. They're still having fun. And what's your mom? I think it's the mom is carrying like a casserole dish. Like, does she always
Yeah,
bring
I mean,
food to a party?
we're all about food. It's all about the food.
Yes. All about the food. She's coming in. And then does the bike resonate with you? Did somebody do something with a bike? Just, I need to know.
We live on a big hill and I went down. I couldn't brake and on my bike. And she was very upset. And she came to my room that night and said, we could have had a tragedy. And she's upset. It must be her.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yes. So there was like, I'm like, there's a story about a bike. So it would usually it just would kind of resonate with the sitter. So they come in here, they're talking about their recipes being passed down. And I feel like they're saying, what, are you not cooking or you're either doing it or you're not doing it? They almost feel like she's got our recipes, but she's not making our food, so is that you they're talking about or is it
No,
sister?
I'm cooking. My sister's definitely cooking.
So everyone's cooking the recipes. Okay.
My
Did they,
cousin, I don't know. Her daughter, like me and my sister are cooking.
okay, so you guys are. So they're talking about that cooking and passing out their recipes. I feel like when they mention recipes, they show me like the little box that has them all, and I feel like there's handwriting on them. So they're acknowledging you, Stacy, like thanking you for that. And I do feel like there's a sense that someone is not doing it. So I just wanted to say that. And they're joking around with it, like, oh, I can't believe it. But they're so also thankful, like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful, right? That you're still doing this. So they're talking about a frosted Christmas tree. I think this is really interesting. Did somebody, like, I see a Christmas tree, but it's like, it's kind of frosted. It's got, yeah. Does they have that?
I remember that in my past. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's so interesting. I feel like Christmas. Yes. I feel like Christmas was their favorite. I know that's very general because it's almost everyone's favorite, but they really are talking about like Christmas time and gathering and all this beautiful ways about them, the family, about the family.
Always spend Christmas with them, yeah. Christmas especially, yeah.
I feel like mom's talking about a boy, a son. You have a son?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She shows me also a soccer ball, but that's my symbol for sports when they show me that. So is he playing sports, your son?
No.
Hockey.
Okay.
He did play hockey, but he's older now. Now he's, musician, artist.
Okay, the music. Okay, so there's something about sports. Either they play sports or they love to watch sports. It's about your son and the sports. And there's a sense of pride. Like I feel like I don't know what he does for work, but I see buildings, like these large buildings, and I don't know if he works in large buildings and very successful. There's something about pride for your son. Okay, like they're really proud of him. So and she wants you to know that she's watching over him. She's feeling really full of pride. Okay, and I guess he's really gorgeous. He's so handsome. Like he's just so gorgeous. Okay, so he's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I just want to, I know these readings are like, bullets here, but I just want to honor these two beautiful women who come in with their lots of energy and lots of food and just acknowledge you. So I hope that,
and you said that
tidbit, yeah.
You said your son wears your mom's necklace, right?
It's a 4.
Oh, it's a 4. Yeah. So maybe that was the
maybe that's
connection with Brad, with him.
Yes.
And she always she always said, he always connects to her too. He always says, I know when grandma's here, I think, she always said that he was going to be successful. And so
Oh my gosh. Yes.
this will make him so happy.
That's wonderful. I feel like there's something about big buildings. I don't know where. Are you in New York, Stacey?
I am in New York City. Yeah.
Okay.
And
it's the.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, wonderful. It feels really good. Like they're watching over him or watching over you, and they just love you so much. So I just wanting to say that. I hope that serves you. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go shut my camera and cry. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm looking out my window, my bedroom window. Actually, Stacy's, if I look out my bedroom window, I see the back of the building that Stacy lives in.
No way, you're
Yeah.
right there. That's so cool. Oh, I love New York. I need to get over
You
there
gotta come
now.
visit.
I got to come visit. So, how we do it on time, Anthony? I want to honor your time.
Well, we're
I don't know if there's-
8:27, but you can go if you have more people, connect. We can stop anytime you like.
Okay. Well, and I just want to honor your time as well. But I do feel like they're like all kind of lined up. I want to speak to, oh boy. I feel like there's a younger gentleman that's in front of me. He's kind of to the side, so he could be someone's son / or someone's nephew. He died before his time. He's very handsome. He's got darker hair. Okay. Boy. Okay. And I would say that he was a little more of an introvert. He was a little shyer. How old are you? Oh boy, definitely in his 20s. I don't like to bring in spirit that's young like this. I mean, not that I don't, but I'm always saddened when they show me how young they were when they passed. He's in his 20s, brown hair, and okay, and he does this, you guys. So when he does this, that means it's on me. Okay, like it's this is I'm taking responsibility. Can you give me a little bit more? I would say he wasn't very tall. He keeps talking about like the way he looks, so try and see if he'll give me something more than the way he looks. Like, well, you're taking responsibility, but why? Oh boy. Okay, I do see a gun. I just want to say that. So I just feel like this, and I know we have lots of people here, but this one's really important. This one is, he's coming in with a message of, again, a letter of apology, but he says he's here to help Mom. He's here to help Mom. Okay, there's two of you. You're coming in together. This is really interesting. So there's two of them. I feel like this might be my cousin Shannon, but I want to say this. When I say two of them, I don't see them as brothers. I see two separate souls that are standing next to each other, almost like saying they're coming in support of one another, but I don't feel like they knew each other. This is really strange. I've never actually had this happen before. I feel like there are two different individuals that don't know each other, and these two boys are coming in as souls, and one is a 20-something and the other one is a teenager, like a not far below, like a 17, 18. Okay, thank you. One's in a hoodie. They all wear hoodies though, right? So one's in a hoodie. Which one's in a hoodie? Both. Okay, they both say, we both wore hoodies. Okay, give me something else. One smoked cigarettes. The one in the mid-20s smoked cigarettes. This is kind of fucked up. I'm getting two completely different souls that I do not feel like are related to each other. What is that? Yes, but Shannon, I feel like Shannon's saying, okay, this one's younger. I feel like the one on the left is younger, wear a hoodie, and I feel like he is helping this other soul, if that makes any sense at all. I feel like they do not know each other in this life, but here as they enter my space, they're like one is helping the other, understand, almost, and I'm getting all kinds of weird sensation.
Katie Steinley wants to know, is the younger one Parker?
Oh shit. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes, I'm getting a yes for that. I wasn't expecting that. This is really interesting. So the other one, I'm hearing Ben. I'm hearing Ben. So Shannon, Ben is here. I'm hearing Ben, and this is Parker and Ben are standing in front of me. Now they do not know each other. Like, I gotta be very clear. They do not know each other in this life. They're here in this space together. Parker is here to support Ben. Now Parker, he is a very bright light. He also died unexpectedly, not by his choice. It was accidental. Yes, yes. And he's very fun, but he's a very great, beautiful, bright light personality, and he is here to help Ben. Now Ben is older. Ben is in his mid-20s, and he feels a little lost. I would love your help, Anthony, in this, because this has never happened even before, where I
Okay.
have two boys that are here side by side coming, and maybe they're just trying to speak to me and they want to connect with their moms. But I pick up that Parker is helping Ben
Did they meet
on a soul
what?
level.
Did they meet in spirit or did they know each other here? Because a lot of times that can happen. They can sort of partner with two spirits, with two people in spirit with the same
Uh,
trauma, can support each other.
that's it. They're supporting each other because I feel Ben was accidental, or was not intended to be the way it turned out, and he's the one with the gun. But Parker was the one that had taken pills that were laced with fentanyl. Is that correct? Right, Katie? Right? I feel like that's Parker was
Katie, would you like to come
completely
on camera?
accident, and I know Parker. I don't know Parker personally, but I know his mom, and I know that he has come through before. And so, yes, she would like to. So, Katie, come help me with this, because I think your son is helping my cousin's son. And this is what's so cool about this right now, that's I'm kind of freaking out, is I have always felt, Shannon, you want to direct? Why can't I get video? Oh, I don't know. I feel like Ben, I feel like Parker's helping Ben. And I think I feel like they're coming, he's helping Ben come here and trying to, and I feel like when he's doing that, that tells me that Ben was not intentional. And I know that might go against what the police say and the records that they have, but Parker's telling me, okay, thank you. Gosh, my
I'm
stomach feels
piggybacking on
really,
this. I'll keep my mouth shut, but if you
I would
want,
love for you, because this is very serious. This is
well, I'm
some
hearing
healing
that
right
both of
here.
them were accidental.
Thank you.
Both of them were accidental, but sometimes, wait a minute. Come on, say it again slower. Fuck. People are in a rush to get paperwork done.
Mm,
Um,
that is
that
Ben.
wasn't, but there was also, were these prescribed drugs or were they like something that somebody might have bought somewhere for fun?
For
Because
Parker, it
they
was for
weren't, the
fun.
drugs were not what they were supposed to be. He was
Correct.
told they were something else, but these were like a million times. Something was up with that was not a good connection. Um, that was
Correct.
accidental. It was accidental, but it was faster to finish the paperwork and clock out for the day. So that would have to do, and I'm so sorry, um, okay, to have this conversation, but I think
I
at
know.
some point it will be healing. We only have this one moment to bring you information and hope that it can be
Exactly.
healing.
And I'm
So
so
please try to get
glad that
past the
you're
pain
helping
of the
me.
loss and
Mm-hmm.
understand that this was not intended. And you know what? If he took what he thought he was taking, he would have been fine. It wasn't like even, it wasn't a big buzz. It was supposed to be like a bzz. Um, but once it happened, it was like, this isn't stopping where it's supposed to. I'm kind of
Yes.
experiencing that moment of his realization that he was about to pass. It
Mm-hmm.
happened very, very quickly. It escalated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
That's
God.
that's Parker. Yes, that is Parker.
And he was like, what the fuck? You know, what did I take?
Wow.
And he, for a while, thought that he was alive, but in either a coma or unresponsive state. It took him a minute. And some guy came over and was like, yo, I'm here. Guess what you did? And there's somebody actually helping him. I'm about to cry. There's somebody there. They've become a good support to each other. And I think the reason that they're showing together is that he wants you to know that he's not alone. He's not in pain. He's telling me that your training, which I don't know if you believe in, but your traditional training told you that people who harm themselves like that are in torment, and he wants you to know he isn't, and he has
He's not.
a buddy. He has somebody there helping him, and he's fine. But you have to stop thinking that he's not. This is such a hard conversation to have.
It is, and I'm curious if it, like I said, if they're piggybacking on each other, because I'm seeing Ben and I'm
Did they
seeing
know each other
Parker.
in life?
They do not know each other in life. This is what I find so interesting, and which is why I wanted you to jump on, because you don't know them, where I
No, I
do.
don't. But do they both
And
know you, Mayume?
yes, only
Okay.
through readings. I've never met them in
But
person, but
that's
only through
okay,
readings.
because
Yep,
the reason that they're
exactly.
showing up together is because you are
I'm
connecting
the connection.
to Katie.
Yes, Katie.
So it's
But
like so Mayume,
Katie's
your people came in.
son is Parker. Ben is my cousin Shannon's son, who also this is that paperwork you're talking about.
Okay.
He committed suicide, and when I was bringing him, felt that there was something went wrong. Something it was not intentional with
Neither
Ben.
one of them were intentional.
Neither one of them was
That's what
intentional, and I
but I
love.
should shut up now.
Yeah. No, because you know why I want you to say that too? Because Shannon, again, is my cousin. I helped bring her son through. To have someone from New York that she doesn't even fucking know say
Exactly,
the
that
same
didn't
thing
know
as me
anybody. Okay.
is
Is
validating.
this information coincidental with anything that is this Shannon with an A or Shannon with an O? Because I have two Shannons on screen.
Shannon with an A.
Okay. Shannon, do you want to
Irvine.
share the screen too?
Yes. But Katie, he was spot on with Parker there. It was with
Katie,
the
would
it's
you
unintentional.
to speak on this, or I mean,
Well, so Anthony, when you were channeling, was that from the younger one? Was that from Parker? What you were
I see one
feeling?
that's a little taller than the other. I don't know what they looked like. I know that they
Yeah.
were two people. One was a little taller. The language of spirit is symbolic. To me, smaller people are usually younger. That's the way they show to me, but I don't know who they were in real life. I do know that one was gone already, and then when the second one showed up, he didn't know that he had passed. He thought, because he was so terrified of, well, the obvious things that would happen, that would go through a child's mind when they take something and they get like, because I remember taking like clear dot acid. I thought, oh my God, how am I going to go home? My parents are going to have a fit. But when this happened, it went beyond that. And then he thought, I hope I'm not in the hospital. He couldn't see, but he could hear. And as somebody who has flatline, your hearing is the last thing to go. And maybe he knew that, maybe he didn't, but he wasn't sure that he thought that he was in the ER unresponsive, and that, oh my God, my family's going to be so disappointed. And then this other guy shows up and's like, no, dude, you passed. So they're sort of helping each other. And I get a feeling that the one who showed up to kind of wise them up to what happened, he's working off his karma by helping this other person. This is something he might not have done while he was here as much as he might have wanted to. Because I'm getting a feeling of shyness from one of them. And it's hard piggybacking, but one of them, maybe even both of them, were not as gregarious as they. But the one who had already passed and knew he had passed showed up because somehow there was a connection, a mutual connection between the two of them that allowed him to come to this person and say, no, you're not lying in an ER. Nobody's angry with you. he took him by the hand and he says, let me show you how to walk here. And they're walking together and they're going through this part of the journey together. A lot of remorse. He has trouble forgiving himself. Um, and he is so sad that there is so much pain around the people that love him and that he loves. And it's like, I'm okay now.
Yeah.
I am better than I've ever been. You're remembering me. Both of you are remembering them at their darkest moment, because that's what we are left with as survivors. I went through that with Christian. He only died a year ago. And it's only now that I force myself to remember him before things got so terrible for him. And that helps him move on, because he doesn't have to. He had a letter of apology. I thought, Christian, I thought you knew that shit. I pointed at your urn today and says, dude, we're good. But I guess you didn't hear me, or you wanted to make sure. But they need to know that we are finally okay with the word is ruckus that they created in our lives by such a surprising end, an unexpected end. So
I'd like to add to that, or not necessarily add
let
to
me
that.
shut up
Maybe,
now.
oh, no, I just wanted to discern between the two very separate, and I agree with you. So the connection's me, because I don't think they
did. I don't think they knew each other in real life, did they?
They did not. They did not at all.
Right, but
and
they had a mutual connection. And that might be you,
Parker
Mayume.
passed, I think it's me, yeah. Parker passed a couple years before Ben. Ben is fairly recent. So that's why I was surprised to see them step forward together, and almost as if Parker was helping Ben. That's the notion that I felt, that the younger one is who died first is helping the 25-year-old.
I'm bringing them back into the front of my head, and the smaller one is standing about 8 to 10 inches in front. They're almost right next to each other, but the smaller one is a little further forward, a little closer to me. So that would mean first and then after. But the person who went first knew how much he was flipped out about his experience. And then I guess Mayume, because of your connection with both of them, they showed up here tonight because they knew that you were open and channeling. And bringing comfort to two people and making me cry like a bitch because I am feeling their frustration. It's like, how are we ever going to make our families happy again? Are they going to be sad for the rest of their lives because of us? And the thing is, neither one of them tried to do this. This was really an accident.
It really was. And I'd like to speak to Ben, who, with you, when you said paperwork, that really resonated with me, because with Ben, there was a gun involved. And so they keep saying it was, suicide, and they're saying, oh, he did it. And I feel like that's a mistake. There's something wrong here. And so to bring you in, Anthony, who doesn't know the situation at all, doesn't know my cousin, you're getting the same sense. I just feel like that's why Parker's here, is to tell me, Mayume, I'm telling you, Ben is the same situation. It was an accident. He did not intend for that to happen.
No, so neither of them did.
Yeah.
And so with the person who passed first was drawn to the person who passed second is because he knows the heartache he felt for leaving his family in pain.
Yes.
And part of the way he works off that responsibility to forgive himself is by helping another person, because there's an ancient Greek myth called the Myth of Chiron, and it has to do with amazing, just ridiculous wounds like this, like an accidental death that and then you're responsible for the sorrow of your family. And if you can't heal it within yourself, you find somebody with the same affliction and you heal them. And then it mirrors back into you. So you're able to heal yourself by healing another person.
Okay.
And he's also fulfilling a purpose that he didn't have a chance to fulfill in life. I'm sorry I'm talking so much, but I'm getting all this information.
And I wanted you to help me with this because I'm too close to it. Like I know both.
Yeah, when you're too close, it's really, I can't read for family members or friends either, because you just can't.
It's just hard.
And you can also easily deny your own acceptance of something because you don't want to know when you're, when you're that close. But the person who came forward to help the second person says, I know what that feels like. I will never I know what happened to me when I got sick and I recovered. I said, I'm never going to let another person go through this. I'm going to teach them all the shortcuts through the back alley so nobody
Mm-hmm.
has to go through this bullshit ever again. And that's what
Yeah.
the first person is doing. And by helping this other person and healing this other person and helping him unravel all the things he had to unravel, because both of them were shocked as hell. It's like, what am I doing
Yeah.
here? And he had to really figure it out. And then here's somebody else that he didn't know, but he knew that was in the same space.
Yes. That makes
Emotionally,
sense to me.
I'm going to do you a
Thank you.
solid. Let me show you the shortcuts through the back alleys and how to get out of this place of confusion. And
Yes.
I think it's beautiful that there's solidarity over there. But I hope
So
each of
I
you can. These were not intentional. Please get that. I'm being prompted to almost yell at you. Get that thought out of your head. That's what's holding you back
mhm.
from healing.
And I feel that that is for Shannon with
Because
Ben.
one of you is taking response. What did I do to make him do that? And
That's
that didn't
Shannon
happen.
is
That didn't
correct.
happen.
Yeah, Shannon, do you want to speak to that? Do you want to, I feel like you can hear us. Can you see us, Shannon? Oh, she's muted. Anthony, can we unmute her?
Okay, sure.
Or does she need
I
to
thought
do
I
that?
did.
Oh,
Um,
Shannon,
but
can you unmute yourself?
okay. I
There we
just
go.
asked. Okay,
Perfect. Thank you.
sure.
No, I know
So,
you had said that before, that you said Ben didn't mean to do it, but he was in a locked garage with the car running with one round in the chamber and committed suicide.
I
Well,
know.
I'm hearing that
It's like, how do you not mean for that to happen when
he could
you
have
do that?
meant for it to happen and then then had a change of mind. And at the same time, it could have been a split second thing. I'm just hearing from both of them
Me too. Me
that
too.
And then
this,
there's our other son, Zachary, took his life 5 weeks later,
oh my
the
goodness.
same way.
It's awful. It's devastating. Yes.
And
So
he
sorry.
was the same thing. There, we got the coroner's report. There was no magazine, one in the chamber.
All I can tell you is what I'm hearing, and what they're asking.
What I sense with Zach, and I think I shared this with you, Shannon, a while ago, but I feel like Zach was intentional, like that he put it in his mind. I think that he was extremely intoxicated when he made this choice or had been planning on or thinking about it. I feel like he even talked about it. With Ben, it's such a different feeling. It's a different sense. And I think that's why he's showing up here with Parker alongside him. To me, this is a message for me to interpret that Parker's saying, hey, this guy here, I'm trying to tell you, he's like me. It was not intentional. I think there was something going on with him where he did not mean to do that. Like, same thing with Parker. I don't know how that serves you. I don't know any more than they come together with that sense that it was not intentional.
I don't know
Uh,
how it could not be intentional, though. That's what I'm
Shannon, I'm going to say
I
this.
struggling
know.
with.
As a medium, we get information from those who have passed. All we can do is pass you the information. I've had this happen in different circumstances with clients of mine where they got really great advice, but they didn't follow it. And as much as I want to take them by the shoulders and shake them and say, why didn't you follow that? That's not my responsibility. My
Mm-hmm.
responsibility is to be a messenger. And I'm bringing you information. I can only imagine what you're feeling with the facts and the evidence that is in front of you. Um, but all I can bring you is the information that I'm getting. And
I
then
understand that.
you're going to have to accept it or not. And I hope that you do, because there
Well,
is
when
pain
we
over there
first
for
found
what the
out about
family's in.
Ben, the first thing I said was, are you sure it wasn't foul play? Are you sure there wasn't somebody else involved?
I didn't see anybody else. I just saw it as an accident. It was almost like Was he very dramatic in life? I mean, was he emotional? I can remember
Um,
going through all the motions except the last time. And to be honest with you, when I was 16 years old, I attempted suicide because of something that happened within my home. I was too young to move out on my own, and a sibling put me in a terrible position, and I just wanted out. And there were 4 nights in a row that I only took half the amount of medication that I ended up finally taking. Um, so there could have been a lead up to it and then a no, and it
I
might have
think
been at the
with
last
both
possible
Ben
minute.
and Zach were girlfriends involved that fucked with their heads.
That could be. I'm not getting, all I'm
That could
getting
be.
is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing from these two delightful gentlemen who are showing up here to bring you information.
Yeah. And
What they're upset about is the discord. They feel that what I'm hearing, the mess I left behind can never be cleaned up. They are never going to stop believing that I harmed myself intentionally. I wish that they were. So this was their attempt.
Well,
Sit
I
with the
know Zach was
information,
intentional.
right? But I don't think he's one. Do we have Parker and Ben here tonight? Is that correct,
Right.
Mayum? Okay.
Yes, right.
Is
So
Zach
Since
I'm
is
Parker and
Zach
I
sorry.
have
there at
not
all?
I'm
connected.
sorry. I don't see another
Yeah,
person
I'm
around
sorry.
them,
I don't pick up on Zach right now, Shannon. I'm so sorry.
but I'm seeing
Ben
that
is
it's
the one
almost
that's
like they're
stepping forward with
backlit.
Parker.
In the front of them
Yeah.
is shadow. I can see their outline. The shorter one, the smaller one is in, so that would mean the
Mm-hmm.
younger one is slightly in
The
front,
younger one.
and that would
Yep.
mean that he may have gone first.
Correct.
Um,
And that's just what I know from Parker. That I feel like Parker is saying, "Ma'am, in Ben's situation, it's similar to mine." I think that's why they showed up the way they did. And I want to thank you, Anthony, for helping me validate that because you don't know who these people are
no,
at
I
all. And
don't.
I want to and I love that you're picking up on the same thing. So thank you for helping me
Okay,
out with
and
that. And I'm
Shannon
very
and
sorry,
Katie,
you guys. Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
sorry for your losses. Please think
So
about what
sorry,
we
ladies.
brought to you tonight, and
Yeah,
please
it's
think
so
about
hard.
what they're feeling, and
Yeah.
try to get past the sadness. I mean, it's a great comfort to know that they're worried about you,
Yeah, they are.
And that they
All right.
found
and now I am too.
friendship and connection on the other side.
They
Pardon?
sure did. I
Oh
love that they
yeah.
came through together.
Well, again,
Yeah.
it's a way of
Yeah.
healing himself.
Right. Yeah. And it really is a message for me, Katie, where Parker's saying, "Hey, ma'am, this kid here, this Ben, that you know, same thing happened to him." That's what I'm picking up on.
Hmm.
So thank you.
And Shannon,
I
maybe
love you
that
too,
part of
Shannon.
that is we didn't know if Parker's death was a suicide or an accident. And so there was a lot of back and forth until I connected with Mayume as a medium and I got like truth from Parker that that was absolutely an accident and he did not realize what was in that pill. So I don't know, maybe that there's something there, where there was, yours sounds like they were very clear that it was suicide, but I'm just wondering.
One of
That's what
them, there
I'm
was
wondering too.
paperwork in a police station on the deceased person that's with us. But I do want to address this. I don't think it's ever going to be easy to accept that you've lost a child. But
Mhm.
these two want you to know that it isn't, I mean, that it
Much
isn't
less
what you were
two
assuming. Yeah, oh,
in
well,
5 weeks.
yeah. And my heart is broken for that. But um, they're concerned with your healing. They want to be here for you, and they want
Yes.
you to try to lessen the pain. They feel responsible for it.
Yeah.
So perhaps
Agree.
knowing, yeah, so I
Yeah.
should probably zip up
Thank you.
now because
No,
I'm
I
talking
appreciate
too
it because
much.
I wanted this because I needed your help to validate what I had been feeling
Hmm.
and sensing. So
Okay,
thank you for that. Thank
my
you,
pleasure.
ladies, for sharing your stories. And again, we're blessing your sweet boys, all of them. So sending you guys so much love.
And
Thank you
love
for
them.
being here.
Send them some love. Love them the way you
Yep.
always did. And that'll
Yeah,
help them
yeah,
heal and help you heal. So bless you
yeah.
both.
Bless you both. All right. Thanks,
I'm
ladies.
a mess. I am
I
such a
know.
mess right
Oh,
now.
all these boys, it's so hard, this loss. So I knew that one's going to be heavy, and I appreciate you, you know, tagging on with me with that one.
No problem.
So, yeah, thank you, thank you. All right. So I know it's getting late. I mean, we've been here for
Yeah, we
gosh, how
should
long now?
probably stop. We're going on 2 hours now. This is like the
I
Mayu
know. But
marathon. But
I am
I hope
sorry.
we
Yes,
facilitated some
let us.
healing. I really do
Yeah,
hope we
I would have.
facilitated some
Me
healing.
too. If you guys, if anyone out there wants to reach out, I would love to meet up. If you want a reading with me, reach out, or maybe want to do a gathering with me, and maybe I'll take a trip out and we'll do a little guided gathering out there together. Get some people together and run a little demonstration together, Anthony.
That would be cool.
That would be kind of fun, right? You'd
That
have
would be
fun.
way cool.
So,
Hmm.
yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for honoring me here with you. It's been such a
Oh,
great time.
Mayum, this has been
And
wonderful.
I could sit and talk spirit with you all night
Yeah,
long, mister.
I
Let's
know,
do
but
it
they'd
again.
all hate us if we just kept them up all night. So, folks,
I know. I
uh,
know.
I would love to have you
Yes,
come back on again in the future if you'd be agreeable to that. And I would love the idea. I think we
absolutely.
should meet someplace really nuts and go ghost hunting on live stream, or do a demo in a live room of people. But I would love to do that because I'm really enjoying working with your energy. And
Yeah.
thank you for introducing me
Yeah.
to those two wonderful young men
I
that
know.
are in
Yes,
spirit, that
absolutely.
are helping each
Thank you
other.
so much for helping them out too. I appreciate that. It's great. And it validates that what I was seeing, saying the same thing. So that's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Okay.
All right.
So
Thanks to all
to
my
my
entourage and
regulars, okay,
friends.
sorry.
Yeah. Oh, same thing.
I would say to my regulars, I will not have a show next week because next week Mayum and I are in training together
Yes,
on the 23rd.
that's
And then
correct.
after our training session, it's Christian's birthday, and I am going to his favorite restaurant with one of his diaries. And I'm going to buy dinner for me, but I'm going to order what he used to order he would always order filet mignon on his birthday. And I'm going to have dinner with him by reading his diary from before he got to New York. This is something we can do with all of our loved ones. We can honor them that
Mm,
way. So
I
I'm
love it.
spending an evening with my partner, and I will see you all on the 30th. I have no idea who my guest is going to be, but I have 2 weeks to figure that out. So once
Awesome.
again, thank you for coming. I enjoyed having you all here, and I hope to see you all again. And just love, light, and blessings to all of you.
Here, here. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Anthony.